Let's talk Tobago.
We are continuing to keep you abreast of the Tobago 2023 Youth Games. Business owners in Tobago recently received grant support, and teachers of Mason Hall Primary School are ensuring that their students learn to read. I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards, and this is Let's Talk Tobago, and we're starting right now. Let's go.
Hey, this is your girl Adana, and you're tuned in to Let's Talk Tobago. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Oh.
Getting into business can be challenging. Thankfully, there's somewhere to turn to. We're talking about the REACH program, and we have highlights of their most recent disbursement in this next story. Have a look.
These 14 small business owners are grateful for the financial boost they've received for their varied enterprises, thanks to grants from the Realization for Economic Achievement program REACH. The unit, which is under the Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection, aims to make micro-entrepreneurs more self-reliant.
A big chunk of what the Department of Social Protection is scheduled or is mandated to do is to give that hand up. What does that mean? We want to invest in you so that you can invest in yourself, so that you can put yourself, your family, and therefore your community in a better place.
I feel excited about it. Kind of surprised too when I got the call, but still appreciative of the funds that I would get. The money would be used for equipment for the business, so that would definitely aid in keeping things going.
I am elated, this will help me to go a little further, in getting my business out there.
It's a good initiative, for people who are starting up in business. The REACH program, it's a very good program for those who have businesses, and it's a little tedious sometimes. Also those that are now starting up, that could give them that boost so that they won't have to be running every minute to ask for this and that. They can afford to help themselves, and the REACH is doing a really good job.
Over $125,000 in grant funding was given out in this tranche. The REACH grant recipients will also receive technical support in areas like financial management, which will improve and grow their companies. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
300 Tobago students are now 4-H club members as they were recently inducted. We have highlights from the induction ceremony which took place at the Shaw Park complex in this next story.
Proverbs 22:6 says, "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it." This biblical quote sums it up nicely what the 4-H Club is all about. It's all about children building life skills by leading in hands-on projects, which help them grow in confidence, independence, resilience, and compassion. Over 300 Tobago students were inducted as 4-H members recently. The students beamed with pride as they get ready to put their 4-H's into action as they navigate through life.
We gather here today under the theme to make the best better, which encapsulates the essence of what this remarkable organization represents. To the soon-to-be inducted members, let me extend my heartfelt congratulations to each and every one of you. Your hard work, dedication, and unwavering commitment have earned you a place among the ranks of the esteemed 4-H Club. Today, we celebrate your achievements and recognize the potential that lies within each of you to make a profound difference in our society.
It always warms my heart to look at the sea of white and green at our 4-H induction. You are becoming official 4-H members, and I encourage you our future students, our present, you, our future, our hope, to continue to use the 4 H's, your head, your heart, your hands, and your health, as we strive to always make the best better.
The induction ceremony was held at the Shore Park complex. I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
Recently, the world celebrated World Ocean Day 2023. Now we have some highlights of Tobago's recognition of this international day. Here's more.
The Buko Reef Marine Park was the focus of this year's World Ocean Day Symposium, facilitated by the THA's Department of Marine Resources and Fisheries. Celebrating our blue heritage was the theme under which environmental stakeholders discussed the socio-economic and ecological importance of this marine protected area. Participants also talked about the creation of a multi-sectoral management strategy for the marine park.
What we are looking at is a multi-stakeholder co-management approach. So everybody has a say. Tourism as well. In fact, tourism is our main stakeholder, because if we're talking Buko Reef, right, our main tourism attraction, but yet, so there are tourism objectives as it pertains to the management, but yet there are conservation objectives, and sometimes you find a tension between those two objectives. So the discussion here will be focusing on how can we harmonize the tourism objectives with the conservation objectives so that all could be happy and we manage well.
I think the NGOs and the private sector, they have a more vested interest in the environment. So I think they will be better to take the initiative to make this work.
It was refreshing to see a lot of like-minded people, and you have stakeholders that's now coming to the realization that we need to have some kind of a protection of our marine environment that is unique to the island. It can't be governmental run. It can't be run by the government. It has to be the private sector, the stakeholders, the people who are involved in the environment.
I like the points about the spatial planning and zoning of the park. That's very important, and that's one of the aspects of the fishing as well, because people must know where they can go in the park and do certain activities, and that is a good practice. Tobago's main tourism product is the ocean, the rainforest, and all that surrounds us, but the ocean plays a big part in Tobago, and preserving it is definitely key.
Other World Ocean Day activities included beach cleanups at Kilgrin Bay and No Man's Land, along with a landfish derby at Castara. A seafood fair coming up on Friday, 30th June, rounds out the month of World Ocean Day activities on the island. I'm Amadara Mills for Let's Talk Tobago.
We take a short break and come back with much more Let's Talk right after this. Stay close.
Keep watching Let's Talk Tobago.
I'm sure you heard of the saying, it takes a village to raise a child. Well, the Mason Hall Government Primary School is taking this old adage in the literal context, as their little learners are reading before large audiences. Here's more.
Ably prepared by their first-year teachers, Miss Myrtle George, Miss Marcia Augustine Monteith, Miss Karen Roberts Andrews, and Miss Arlene Scott Heath. These budding young scholars were as ready as they can be for the school's first community reading exercise.
At Mason Hall Government Primary School, we have been really advancing reading at our school at our lower level, hoping that as they matriculate, they go beyond the first year into the second and way up to the 5, that we can erase the challenges that we know that many of our children in Tobago experience.
Through the use of the Jolly Phonics program, infant readers are quickly able to recognize the sound of syllables before joining them to pronounce their words.
Even adults, when they have to present before an audience, they have that thing weeks in advance.
and they're going through it weeks in advance. But because we are not promoting memorization, but mastering and harnessing the skills, the phonetic skills, they have learned, and they only got the material just about 15 minutes ago.
Students randomly chose their books to present in front of an audience of parents and students.
Ready to read? Parents ready to listen? Yes.
One final high five for good measure, and it was showtime.
Good morning. My name is Carlos Hazel. The book I'm reading is My Dad and Me.
The execution wasn't perfect, but the effort was definitely commendable. Supported by their teachers, the brave infants are sure to master the art of learning as they persisted until they got it right.
What stood out to me is that there was authentic reading. And I think that is what the teachers tried to achieve. So they gave the children the material this morning, so it wasn't something that they would have practiced over time. And so the skills that were taught over the year, you saw them emerging, because we saw children correcting, doing self-corrections and all of that. And so we know that everything that was presented here this morning was genuine.
Well done, students. You read, you understood, and you conquered. For Let's Talk Tobago, I'm Ryan McCool.
Tobago songstress Adana recently released a new hit, and no, it is not a soca. This time her vocals are on some reggae music. Here's more from her recent hit, Love Me.
Love me, bad vibes can't break me down this time.
You know the voice, you know the name. Tobago-born songstress, the one and only Adana, is once again bursting speakers at home, regionally and internationally. This time, her vocals can be heard singing the genre of reggae.
I love reggae, one, because I'm able to express myself not only vocally, but I could speak about the things that I wouldn't usually talk about in soca. You know, I love my love songs. I do have this one song called Love the Skin. I mean, speaking about self-love, accepting yourself wholly and solely, and just loving who you are as a person. So reggae, apart from soca, I really do love and I enjoy singing reggae and performing reggae on a whole. This song is a part of a rhythm, actually, on the Sweet Melody rhythm. It was born out of Jamaica. Big up to Patex, the producer. I want to send love to my writer, Stephanie Joseph, as well, who wrote the song for me. And you know, my manager reached out to me. She said, Adana, I have this rhythm and I think you would like it. And from the first time I listened, I said, yes, I love it. Let me get a writer on it right away. I contacted Stephanie Joseph, and you know, I told her exactly what I was feeling at the time, what I would like to sing about, and she delivered a great song.
I'm Crystal George for Let's Talk Tobago.
You cannot stop this shine.
The local Commonwealth Association is nearing its target of recruiting 2,000 volunteers for the Tobago 2023 Youth Games. Here's a bit of the local recruitment process right here in Tobago.
The countdown is still on for the Commonwealth Youth Games Tobago 2023, which is carded for August. And while contractors are moving at pace to ready the venues, the local organizing committee is calling on you, the citizenry, to volunteer your time and hospitality in helping to make sure that this Games is the absolute best it can possibly be.
Today is just our first of many fun engagements to come as volunteers. So we just wanted to meet you, have a chat with you, and to explain to you what is required.
Let me thank you up front for being here. And let me encourage you to view volunteerism as an opportunity to learn and grow.
I'm happy that we are all on board. The athletes are going to be moving from Trinidad to Tobago at one point in time. The opening ceremony is planned to be in Trinidad, the closing ceremony in Tobago. So we expect a lot of activities.
agency recognizes the importance of ensuring that all members as volunteers become basically ambassadors for Tobago.
So we decided to have this volunteer engagement because we realized that some of you had signed up long time ago and didn't hear from us. And that wasn't a good thing. So we wanted to have this to let you know that this is happening, but we have some information to share with you.
My first time volunteering in a sporting event was on the 10th in the Rainbow Cup. And I tell myself, you know, me this thing I no money, you know, me really want to go and do this. But I went out and I do it and I really enjoyed it and I find it was very good.
As a member of the Rugby Football Club in Tobago, it's a good opportunity to be able to give back to the youths, set an example and for them to encourage them to come out and play the sport.
I'm a lover of sport, so I decided based on the knowledge I have through entries and my work, I will put myself out there, market myself to help the young people and to bring young people on board to let them know that this is a goal for us. It's a beauty for us to be able to participate in this sport as the Commonwealth Youth Games. So I love it. I just love it and I just want everybody to just come on board and volunteer.
I don't think there's anything more I could say. I mean, you heard from the volunteers, you heard from the local organizing committee. If you have the opportunity and you are able, go on the Commonwealth website and click on the link to become a volunteer. It's very important. They're looking for just about 2,000 volunteers nationally, and you still have that opportunity. So from Isaac and I, broadcasting out of Shore Park here, it's been Let's Talk Tobago, and I'm Ran McCool.
We have to take a short break right now, but much more Let's Talk when we return.
To celebrate Father's Day this year, we at the Office of the Chief Secretary wanted our fathers and men to know that they are loved, celebrated, and valued.
Little baby, don't you cry, everything's gonna be alright. Stiffen that up.
Put on the pampers on the baby the right way, no joke.
Rivet gun.
Screwdriver, Philip Head.
You know sound there.
You can't be that stressed.
Yeah, this one stressing me, this one feel weird.
Are you ready? Are you ready? All right. Ready, set, go.
Kesson, let's go church, you know. They feel Kesson out there.
We just want to show you guys how much you are appreciated, both as fathers and as men of staff.
Let's go, let's go.
Fatherhood is being able to nurture and bring up children and, you know, show them the right ways and principles in life.
Fatherhood means, to me, fulfilling God's plan. Fulfilling His ordinance to us as beings on this earth to be fruitful and multiply.
Do your best as a father. This, in spite of what it is, what challenges you may face, just do your best.
To have a happy and blessed Father's Day.
have come to the end of yet another episode of Let's Talk Tobago. But guys, for more of our content, you can follow us on social media. You can also visit our website at www.tha.gov.tt. I'm Patricia Nicholson Richards, and on behalf of all of us at the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly, thank you so much for viewing, and to see you soon.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Good morning and welcome to Tobago Updates. This is the morning show and I am Adana Kumbi. Welcome, welcome, welcome one and all. I am in studio here with my co-host, Marcus Daniel. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Adana. Of course, good morning, Tobago. Once again, a happy time here on Tobago Updates. Always happy to come and have a conversation on the issues, of course, affecting all of us here in Tobago.
That's right, that's right. And you know, today is Friday, the last working day of the week. So we have to talk about what's happening on the weekend.
Yeah,
what are your plans? What's going on the island?
Of course, I mean, once you're at Tobago, you know that tomorrow is set up in the east at Argyle. And of course, today, this is what we're going to do that in the shout out, Delman Edwards. So big up yourself, Delman. And I'm also told that it's Island Crashers weekend as well. Yeah, I mean, we too.
That's for the team buffers, right?
we're not on that level, but it's going to be a bumper weekend. I'm told that since yesterday, they started arriving in Tobago. And you saw the increase in traffic and all these different things. So I'm looking forward to the weekend, but not for the crashers. I'm also the setup kind of type crowd. I'm also told that it's paint weekend as well. I'm sure you heard about the paint. It's like a juvie.
I have no clue about these things. But, I mean, the island will be a buzz this weekend. It will be a buzz this weekend.
I mean, indirectly, Tobago benefits. I mean, the car rentals, the bed and breakfast, the hotels, the guest houses, all these different things. And I'm just hoping that everyone come and have a good time, enjoy Tobago, and leave it as is. And of course, be safe out there. Take your time on the road as well.
Of course. And it's always a welcome situation to have the influx on the island, you know, the increase in the economics and stuff like that. Some money in your pocket, you know, for us Tobagonians, which we always look forward to.
An opportunity to dress up and have a good time as well.
Yes, of course, you know. And we have a beautiful show for you guys today. But before we go into our show, we are going to head over to News in 90 Seconds with Candice Jackson.
Thank you, Adana and Marcus. I am Candice Jackson, and here is your news in 90 seconds for Friday, 30th June 2023, brought to you by Coconuts Cafe. The THA budget statement for fiscal 2023-2024 was passed in the House last night. The sit-in lasted until midnight, with each assemblyman and councillor contributing to the budget debate. The debate now moved to the committee stage, where each line item will be deliberated on before being passed a second time and be ready to be delivered to the Minister of Finance. The sitting of the committee stage will take place today. Meanwhile, Minority Leader Calvin Morris stated that the budget delivered by the Chief Secretary Fali Augustine was a flight of fantasy. Morris criticized the budget as he kicked off the debate in the House. He said it lacked a clear direction, particularly in the area of infrastructure. He raised concerns with the idea to develop an online education system that will enable an autonomous study with sporadic instructor monitoring. Morris also voiced reservations about the plans for Tobago's Carnival, scheduled for October. And finally, the Tobago division of the TNT Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Curtis Williams, said they were anticipating hearing about a payment schedule for contractors during the THA budget presentation on Monday. He said that the THA's late payments to contractors and suppliers affected their cash flows and ultimately their ability to conduct business. However, Williams supported the plans announced for the agriculture sector and hopes serious action is placed into implementing them and bringing them to fruition. And that was the news in 90 seconds, brought to you by Coconuts Cafe.
Coconuts Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes for breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti served with chokers, buljoil and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
This for our news in 90 seconds. And guys, of course, we head into that segment where we celebrate our birthdays. And our birthday segment is sponsored by KFC.
This is your birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
Today, celebrating today, we have
Delman Edwards.
This is your boy.
As I mentioned earlier, Delman Edwards, big up yourself today. The man who is in charge of that Sun Up event tomorrow in Argyle. Happy birthday, Delman, of course. Hope you have a wonderful day. And then Tiba De Leon. We know him as a basketball coach.
Yes. Tiba, I know him as Tiba.
Tiba, yes, a police officer by trade. Tiba, do have yourself a wonderful day. Happy birthday from us here on Tobago Updates.
Yes, Tiba. And this segment was sponsored by KFC.
Birthday shoutouts on Tobago Updates, sponsored by KFC.
From the experts that created the Zinger sandwich comes the KFC Crispy Barbecue Zinger.
The only one I see is you.
Cheddar cheese, crispy onions, the most delicious Kentucky Fried Chicken, and barbecue sauce. Get ready for a whole new level of flavor.
Back, viewers, and thank you guys for staying with us here on the morning show at Tobago Updates. Remember to share the live. So let's talk about what's on the show today. We have a nice show lineup for you today. And among our guests, we're talking about, it's Heritage Time coming up.
Yes,
Tobago Heritage Festival is coming up. So we're speaking with the Cultural Officer to in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. That's a long division. But Mr. Jesse Taylor is in studio with us this morning and we're speaking with him. Who else do we have, Marcus, on our rundown?
And it seems like the tourism division is in focus this morning. We also have Jamona Madan, a former Junior Secretary of Tourism and Culture. Kelly Louis, also a former Junior Secretary in the Division of Tourism and Culture. And then Janae Brathwaite, the current Junior Secretary of Tourism and Culture, and the Program Coordinator in the Division of Tourism, Ms. Sandra or Tony. And they are coming to talk to us about Tourism Congress 2023. And then, of course, we're going to wrap with a sports interview.
Of course, your segment.
Yes, indeed. And we're going to talk to the President of the Tobago Football Association, Mr. Everton Alfred. I know him as Kenny Alfred, and he's going to be talking about the Tobago Football League 2023.
Awesome. So that's who we have on the program for you guys today. So stay with us and remember to share the live, share the live, share the live. And we go right now into Tobago in Focus.
Mediation is used as an alternative to litigation through the use of an impartial moderator and communication and negotiation techniques. The Division of Health, Wellness and Social Protection established its mediation unit in 2009 and has steadily expanded. The unit, equipped with 2 certified mediators, has since settled several matters, including landlord and tenant issues, merchant-customer disputes, property and land, parenting, and even issues regarding the running of traditional susus. Assistant Coordinator at the Mediation Unit, Carol Spencer Edwards, further explains.
We deal with family and relationship disputes, neighborhood conflicts, community disputes, juvenile conflicts. So the range of issues are there, and as I said, we try to offer persons that option as against going to the court.
Ms. Spencer Edwards revealed a high success rate between 70 and 75%, noting that a large part of the unit's success lies with the process, as persons are allowed to speak freely in a safe and comfortable environment.
Quite often the issues that they deal with or that they're dealing with is not out of the ballpark. It's just that maybe sometimes not able to sit and express themselves. And sometimes you need somebody there to say, here's what, let's start with, or hold up, give her a minute, or hold up, give him a minute. You know.
The recent addition of a therapeutic counseling unit, manned by 8 counselors, has further expanded services, including a crisis hotline, parenting workshop, grief counseling, life skill coaching, marriage counseling, and learning enrichment programs. Services can be accessed through its walk-in services or by referral.
Welcome back, viewers, to the morning show on Tobago Updates. As I said, I'm your host, Adana Kombi, and we are talking with Mr. Jesse Taylor. He is the Cultural Officer 2 in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. And this morning, we are talking about the Tobago Heritage Festival and its launch tomorrow. Of course, some of the events have already begun. You might have seen on social media some of the interaction with some of the primary schools and stuff like that. And I think they're doing a beautiful thing there over Tourism Division. And we just want to hear more about it and what we can expect for our Heritage Festival 2023.
Yes, certainly. Good morning, all of Tobago, to all my colleagues, to the division and Trinidad and Tobago by extension. Thank you for having me. Well, we have begun. We are ready, we are set, and maybe we should say we are going. So we have concluded the Tobago Junior Heritage Caravan, which saw us putting things into 8 of the primary schools. It was fantastic, to say the least. The energy, the willingness of the children to really want to learn. And it emphasizes what some of our mission statement has been and our goals and objectives as how we align the product for the transference of our knowledge to those children who are really the cradle stage and the bedrock eventually of our expression. So we have done that, and we are getting ready to do a lot of other stuff.
Right, and it's very important for the posterity of anything to continue with education and educating for the legacy and the continuation of our Heritage Festival, what is indigenous to Tobago. So I like that was taken into the primary schools. I like that there was an educational part of it, and I like the reception about it. So what is happening I know there's a launch tomorrow. What is happening
Certainly.
tomorrow?
Tomorrow, we go to the Scarborough Library at 4 p.m. and we will be having what is called Heritage Telele. Now, Telele is just about stopping and showcasing. I mean, this immortal song says, the old lady walk a mile, full of energy, full of exuberance, full of pride. That woman who is the inculcation of all our what we manifest and what we have brought with us. So tomorrow, and it's aligned to the fact that we have the stylized woman in the concept of the logo of the woman, she becomes more beautiful. So we start tomorrow with putting together all those things that are beautiful, our heritage queens, those people who are the griot of our language, who sing the calypso, they would also be there. So there'll be a right up in the face is a kind of circular marketing strategy where we put the brand and really invest in the quality of what we do and the durability, to say the least. So tomorrow at 4 p.m. we'll hear the going back to the way we used to do it, as we pay homage and to all of we and who all of we be, you will see it manifest itself. We'll have prospective sponsors, embrace committee sponsors. We'll have the authentic music, the dances, the performances to blend in. Of course, we'll have an address from the Honorable Assistant Secretary Megan Morrison, who has responsibility for culture and antiquities in the division.
Right, and you mentioned the logo. Since I'm a child coming up, the logo, it says she becomes more beautiful.
And evidently so.
Yes, and we're looking forward to this year to see how she becomes more beautiful this year. So what's new?
We've used so much different things. So we have, like I said, we had the Junior Heritage, and now we have, we're getting ready to do the launch tomorrow. And right out of that, the beauty is almost unfolding from tomorrow, but continues to unfold from tomorrow. And then we actually go into our heritage on the road, where we take the heritage to the people. The statement is, if Muhammad can't go to the mountain, then the mountain. So we are taking a mountain of our indigenous culture, the way we used to do it, the only way we know how, and we are coming to various spaces as a surprise. We are doing several of the divisions, and then we have other strategic placement that's really is designed to create nostalgia, to create shape the interest, and to bring back a sense of pride as we come post-COVID. We are celebrating all those things and all those people who have been a part of this magnificent and worthwhile journey.
Yes, and you said something post-COVID, because the interaction now, the community interaction now is something that people, we missed, and it's something we look forward to this year, as you say, moving into the communities, and you're doing your road shows and all your rollout programs.
So we're able to be a little more up close, and the way our traditions have always been, as the saying, what it takes to village to raise the child. So we are close family, and because we've been ruled so many times and have changed hands so many times, there's a sense of closeness that is somewhat kind of almost sacred, because it's almost aligned to, I can't do without you and you can't do without me. So that is why all of we and who all of we be is so important this year as we pay homage. We want to really say to all of Tobago that all of us and all of who have been before us, as we seek to honor, because that's what some of the three peg lines are, that words are, we honor. We pause and we celebrate and we seek to inspire. Because what are we without the retention and the bedrock, the platform rather, for our placement of that which we have inherited and have come through such a bitter period of colonial rule, and now onto glorious emancipation and the long walk we've had to freedom. It should be celebrated with pride.
Yes, I like those three words you just used, but I want to go back to a phrase you used. You said, all are we and who we be. Say it again for me now. I like the dialect.
All are we and who all are we be. And it's just what we are. Our language, our food, our craft, our art, that passion, that thing that drives us to is larger than money. And that's why I keep talking about the circular economy and the branding of that, and how we use position what the key product is. This legacy in this case, the Tobago Festival, Heritage Festival, which really is an umbrella for all the other things. But we have so many other aspects. We have the natural treasures in Charlottesville. We still have what is displayed, the old time, the reenactment of that 19th century wedding in Mariah. And then we also could go over and do the Juve in Plymouth. So and then we still do the Emancipation Walk, and we could still invite the ancestors and chant and dance and sing, and still go to Lekito and hear about the obia and the pot and how to do the sweat rice. And then so there's so much folk tales and so much legend, and it's so much like a potpourri of who we have become and emerge into this wonderful people of doing just 36 years. We are so proud to be the people we have. I'm so glad to be able to share that and be a part of its manifestation.
Listen, the Tobago culture is so rich. It is so rich. And the way that you are passionate about it is making me excited.
But I hope
you
so.
know, it's
I'm
making
passionate
me
about what we do. Because I really find that we are so well poised, unique. We have the bounty of the land, we have our flora, we have our fauna. And then we have what I prescribe and always refer to as our greatest resource, which is our human resource. And then that's occasioned by our capital. But yet still we are able to find that balance. And it's almost as though you return to the old days of grandeur. And I often say, bring back the old time days. He said it, Andrea Tanker, that we know things must change, but we still love.
Of course. At the
end
of the day, because that's our foundation, right? The old time, that is the bedrock of who we are.
Yes.
So remind me of those 3 words, the 3 pillars that you use.
So we honor, and we honor all those because we have lost quite a few of our gems, some of our stalwarts, those icons, those cultural icons who have really paved the way, even from some of the people who were instrumental in starting this journey from its conception in 1987. Now here we are, we honor, we pause and we honor. And then we celebrate the richness of the vitality and the contributions of those who we now have with us. And so privileged to have with us. We celebrate the works and what they do. And of course, we seek to inspire, because we believe that in the inspiring, we are literally saying, here is our future. Take it, preserve it, practice it, but preserve it. Because what I keep saying, without retention.
Yes, certainly, because, the new generation, the young generation.
Precisely, that's why I keep saying retention.
Yes, because, the thing is that we adapt so much of everything else.
Yes.
So it's important to bring us back to where we came from and to understand our roots.
People without a culture.
That's right.
People without a culture is like Christian Herbert said, is a people without a soul. So we want to ensure we keep our soul. We preserve the essence of our folk traditions, the story of Gang and Sarah, the Sokia, that woman who flies in the night, the Dwayne who takes the children away. And then if we align them, a lot of the things that we now see facing us, if we align them to things that were said in old fables and riddles, we can really find the platform to encourage the dissuading of people and children and youths who end up in areas that are considered social disorders.
Wow, this is a lot. And our viewers online, I want to welcome you to the program this morning. And I want you to type in the chat which events for this season you are most looking forward to. Because there's so many. And as a child growing up, I used to dance when I was much younger, under Auntie Cheryl, Auntie Annette,
And those people who have done, like I say, who have really been amongst those starters, who still today, even if they are not as on stage, but they are very much present and very much vital, essential, and pertinent to what we now have, and is proud to celebrate.
Right. Listen. This interview is going so beautiful, eh? Whenever you see Jesse or you hear about Jesse, you know that there's something theatrical or dramatic.
So we're getting ready to stage tomorrow.
Yes.
We also have this afternoon, because we have put into place, in the absence of what have normally been the folk fiesta, we have what is known, what we have dubbed, Come Talk Your Talk and Show Me Emotion. So we have auditions this evening at the Scarborough Library from 5 to 7. It's an open call, and we have some committee sponsors. We're still looking, of course, for prospective sponsors to come forward, but we are having a talent display. You can just come and talk your talk, be it oral, because we are seeing the dying art of the wedding speech people and the people who normally have done the christening speech and the funeral speeches, and how that exaggeration of words that you would have normally hear when somebody's child would have been christened. We're missing the oral part of it. The value of the speech band cannot be undervalued. We cannot leave that alone. And then, of course, we look at how we pay homage and how we retain our African heritage and the legacy, our Caribbean Afro folk dances, our bongo and wake traditions, the games we used to play. So this evening is a good opportunity. I invite all of you up to Tobago to come out. We have an onslaught of people who have already committed, and so we are there to do the first audition, and we look at the final phase on the 7th of July. So you see, I'm saying to you, there's a lot of fringe things happening, and then we're moving to what is the 21st, which is the crowning of Miss Tobago Heritage Personality and the Tobago Heritage Monarch. 2 for the price of 1.
Right. Okay, so they both combined. Good. Yes. While you were going on there, you were talking about the different phrases that we used to use, and I'm going to tell you guys one now. It fills me with philanthropic joy
and jubilation.
Yes. To be
and that's just those words that are part of the language and is very much widely respected, but not often enough propagated and done. So we do have that. And then what it really does, it teaches our young people how to write and how to be able to concoct their own stories and be the author of their own destiny. So it's also a career path, because you're also able to learn about costuming and to design. We have so many innovators, so it should not just be about carnival, because I'm strongly opposed to our culture just being seasonal
yes.
And just about it being about it's done, pack up and see you next year. And that we really, in this phase, what we are hoping to get, and this is some of the things the Assistant Secretary and the division is positioned highly on the list of things we do, is how do we continue to see the growth of the cultural product, because it affects the cruise ship and the people who come into our shows. What do they do on an average night or week when there's nothing else planned?
And that is a topic for another discussion, exactly, you know. Mr. Taylor, as I said, it filled me with philanthropic joy and jubilation to have had this conversation with you and to hear the passion. And I do hope we're able to, as you said in the roundup there, to get this as part of our curriculum now in schools.
I would hope so.
You understand?
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, this is where we end our interview with Mr. Taylor. If you have not heard it, Tobago Heritage Festival is launching tomorrow.
It's alive and well. It's not dead, and so there'll be no wake, there'll be no bongo.
I love it.
Expressions of what we have.
Thank you so much for being here on our program this morning. Thank you, viewers, for staying with us and interacting with us on the live. And we are going to go to a break before we come back. And what do we want you to do? Of course, share the live, share the live, share the live.
I've got the so accustomed to that.
Are you flood ready? Monitor trusted sources for info. Wear protective gear when you clean up. Contact your insurance provider to assess the damage. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATIL, where people are people.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bonaccord, right in Stobie Local Road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, 1/2 and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3 bedroom, fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments, complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
This is how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show, and everybody's gonna know. Say it to them once again. They better look up below. This is your show, and everybody's gonna know. That's how it's gonna go. They better look up below, 'cause this is your show.
Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates. Real questions and honest conversations with the sole aim of keeping you fully in the know. Full disclosure with the executive every Thursday at 8 p.m. only on Tobago Updates.
Are you flood ready? Review and update insurance coverage. Install floodgates and barriers. Create a family flood plan. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATL, where people are people.
The best place to stay in Tobago is at Thorn's Place, with rates starting as low as 200 TT. Call or WhatsApp 745-7306 or 682-8676. We are located uptown Scarborough, 5 minutes away from the port. Remember, at Thorn's Place, our aim is to make your stay safe and affordable.
Are you flood ready? Recycle and properly dispose of large waste. Avoid sweeping yard clippings or trash into drains. Plant trees to avoid soil erosion. An initiative to help people prevent, prepare, recover. TATL, where people are people.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
You can now get whatever you need whenever you need it anywhere in Tobago with Tobago. Your meals, medication, groceries, and shopping all delivered directly to you. No more hassle, no more stress. Get the Tobago app today on Google Play or Apple App Store.
That's TAPPOGO and let us deliver to you.
Check our website at www.tapogo.app or call the experts at 494-TOGO and 484-4746. Tobago. Relax. We will get it to you. Tobago's at your service.
It's a different type of thing down there. And we party till we drop down there. With a lot of pretty girls down there. Down in Tobago.
Tobago Glass Supply.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Welcome back to Tobago Updates Television. Of course, the morning show is happening right here, and of course, also on Amplia. And you'll be joined in studio. Should I say, it gives me philanthropic joy to be joined by 2 young people here. We also have folks online, and we are talking to Tourism Youth Congress. All right. So we have Miss Sandra O'Tony, the program coordinator for this said program. And we also have online Janae Brathwaite. And in the studio, we have Kelly Lewis, right? Kelly Lewis?
Correct.
Right, and we also have Alex Job. Yes, I'm surrounded by young people this morning. I'm also young, but some people would beg to differ. And I want to start off with Miss Orr, the program coordinator, just to share with viewers what this program is all about. Good morning to you, and thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning to the Secretary and Administration of the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. Good morning to Tobago. Good morning to my beautiful Tourism Youth Club members. And by extension, good morning to Trinidad and Tobago. It's a pleasure to be here. The Tourism Youth Congress is one of our signature youth programs in the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation. It falls within our Youth in Tourism program and has the mandate of more or less providing a platform for young people to air their views, speak about, share how they feel about tourism on this island. And what is interesting about this Youth Congress is that its premise lays really within the tourism, the Caribbean Tourism Organization. It is a program, it is a regional program, and it more or less seeks to provide that platform for students within the region to debate tourism issues. In Tobago, we have more or less epitomized that program, and we now allow our students who are members of our tourism youth clubs. As you may know, we have tourism youth clubs in 8 secondary schools on the island. We work with them. We do developmental programs, we educate, we create awareness on the sector, because if we really need to build tourism, which is our main economic driver, our young people need to be part of that, need to be part of this tourism sector, really needs to be able to say, we are the future. So that is what this whole thing is about. Today, we are having our local Tourism Youth Congress, and that is a prerequisite that has been set by the Caribbean Tourism Organization in order for member CTO countries, in terms of Trinidad and Tobago is one of those members, in terms of they participating at the Tourism Youth Council in the Cayman Congress, they have to host a local program. And that is what we are doing this morning at the library, starting at 9:30 a.m. I know that the young people are really, geared up and ready to really participate. This program at the library assists us. It's really allow us to, at the division, to utilize a transparent forum where we select the new junior secretary of tourism. When that person is selected today, whoever that person may be, that student may be, they now will go on and enter the regional competition and represent Tobago as a youth tourism ambassador at the regional CTO level, which is usually held in October of each year. What I would like to add here is that Tobago, and she's on set, Tobago has always done really well at the regional level. In 2017, we started our tourism youth clubs. In 2018, we entered the Tourism Youth Congress. We had Mr. Jamon Madden from Roxborough Secondary School. He placed 4th. In 2019, we had Miss Kaylee Lewis representing Tobago at the regional level as well. She came 3rd. And last year, we, Tobago, Miss Janie Braffett, we went to the Cayman Islands, and Janie came first at the regional level. So she's currently the junior minister of tourism, currently holding that title.
Yes, yes.
So,
and you know, fantastic in all that you would have said there. I mean, it sounds very exciting. And I want to bring in Janie Braffett here, our junior minister of tourism. Janie is all smiles this morning. And Janie, I mean, I want to tell Tobago how it has been for you representing Tobago firstly across there in Cayman Islands. What you would have done differently, of course, from 2017 to last year in bringing this title home to Tobago. How it has been for you in the year thus far?
Okay, good morning, everyone. Firstly, the experience has truly been one that is indescribable, I must say. However, from 2017 to now, I utilize the tellings, as the old persons would say, from the persons that have gone before me. I looked at the way that they went about doing things, and then I readjusted certain things to ensure that it would meet the standards of the CTO. In addition to that, constant practice and dedication has allowed me to bring the title home for Tobago. I must say that within this experience, I've learned a lot. It has helped me to develop as an individual. It has piqued my interest within the tourism sector more. It allowed me to understand that, tourism, it circulates around each aspect of our lives, and overall, the experience was wonderful. It was amazing. It was developmental. It was something that I will truly remember as I go on to the next stage in my life. It also has allowed me to see that, being a youth in tourism, you have to truly understand what that means for you as a person first before you go ahead and advocate for other persons within the tourism sector.
Very, very well said. And of course, congratulations to you on being the junior minister regionally. Big things there for Tobago. I want to come and set now with Kaylee and Alex Job. Kaylee, former junior secretary of tourism and culture. How has that been for you? And tell me about the roles and responsibilities in being a junior secretary.
Okay, so basically, junior secretary shadows the secretary of tourism.
Right.
So that experience in itself, as Jenny would have said, is very developmental rather, and it's very enlightening because, as you know, the secretary has a lot of responsibilities. Right. So when the secretary comes to bring greetings, a lot of times the junior secretary of tourism has to be there as well. So I think the entire program put on by the Division of Tourism, I mean, obviously it comes from the Caribbean Tourism Organization, right. But I think the fact that we have been able to keep doing this year after year, even after COVID, because I became the junior secretary in 2019. And it wasn't only until last year I handed over the title to Jenny, obviously because of the pandemic.
Right.
So during that entire time, we had a lot of programs, we had seminars online, I had the opportunity to network. I think networking is really one of the most important parts because when you go to the Caribbean Tourism Organization, in whichever Caribbean island they have it in, you have delegates from different islands. So that bond that you build, those networking opportunities, they last a lifetime. I mean, I still have friends from Antigua, Barbados, Jamaica, all over. Everybody still, talks. And, the Congress is coming back up again, so everybody is talking about it, sending up your delegates. The little peacock is always there.
And you mentioned that, you shadow the Secretary for Tourism. You get the same pay too?
No. No, we do not. The pay is not the same at all.
So what's I want to come to Alex, right? What's the incentive to really join a program like this, and how you got involved in it?
So I really, well, for me, tourism was my bread and butter, right?
Right.
So that's shocking. And for a young person in Tobago, if you check most of the times, if you check where their parents work, you're highly likely that they work in the tourism industry. So I that's what my bread and butter for me. And when the tourism clubs came around, I was doing tourism at the A levels, and I jumped at the opportunity to get involved, right? Because that I am always for youth development, right? And I was the first president of the Scarborough Tourism Youth Club.
So you at Scarborough,
right?
Big time.
Yes. So, and yes, Katie wasn't the first executive as well, and we went forward. And I moved on from A-levels and went on to do my BSc in International Tourism Management. So to me, tourism is just my passion. Tourism is my life. So I am a young person living the experience.
Right, fantastic. And I want to come back to Johnny before I get to Miss, or to wrap up. Sorry. So Brathwaite, so we have the Congress in Tobago this morning. I mean, what advice would you want to give to those persons who will be participating this morning?
Firstly, I would like to tell them that it is okay to be nervous, because when I went, I was extremely nervous. I sat there and I wondered, how am I going to execute everything that I have learned? However, I will also like to tell them that utilize this opportunity. Take as much as you can get from it. Embrace everything that they offer, because it really allows you to experience everything within Tobago, from our history to our culture, all the way down to the agriculture or the transportation within the island. You learn a lot. I would also say that ensure that every step you take within this position is an intentional one. Ensure that it is going to be not just beneficial for you, but the next person to come after you as well. Ensure that you grow from this experience, that it is going to be one that add some kind of substance to your next step in your life. And overall, make yourself proud. Make yourself proud, make your family proud, make the island proud. Because regardless of what you do in this life, the smallest things you have accomplished is the ones that truly matter the most. So that is my advice to the next person.
Thanks so much. And Miss, as we wrap quickly, let's tell me the time and place, and of course, can members of the public attend this morning as well?
Okay, we start at 9:30 a.m. It's at the Scarborough Library facility, the Anne Mitchell gift, and we probably would probably end about let's say about 1:30 to 2. And what I want to say before I close off is that this year the Tourism Youth Congress has attracted 2 corporate sponsors in the name of Caribbean Airlines and the Trinidad and Tobago Unit Trust Corporation. We also have been supported by several tourism stakeholders and industry partners. Quickly, I like to just mention them: Casa La Vista, Tobago Luxury Villa, Lesville, Tobago, the Seahorse Inn and Restaurant and Bar, Shepherd's Inn, the Bay Leaf at Bacolet, Ted Sunshine Enterprises and Tours, AJ's Auto Rentals, Comfort Inn and Suites, and the Tobago Tourism Agency Limited.
Fantastic.
So I am on a high. I am elated. I feel, although I'm overwhelmed, but I feel good, because when you do this kind of work, it comes from your heart.
Yes, indeed.
And it's all about purpose. It's all about purpose. And I want to really thank the coordinating teachers of the various youth clubs who are the pillar behind the students, who prepare them to debate today. Thank you. And I want to wish all the participating 8 schools and students the very best, and to say that you are all winners.
Fantastic.
And we at the Division of Tourism, Culture, Antiquities and Transportation support you all the way, and you are all tourism ambassadors. And I want to really mention my secretary, Mrs. Tasha Grace Barris, and the administrator, Mr. Suris Duku, for their support. They have been supported 150%, giving support to the youths.
Yes.
Youths all the time.
We're gonna leave it there today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I can see the excitement in your face, and I wish you a really good program this morning. I want to wish all the participants all the best, and of course to Kaylee and Alex Job. Thank you so much for contributing to Tobago's tourism sector, and of course to Johnny Brathwaite, Keep doing what you are doing. Viewers, thank you so much for tuning into this interview. We're going to go for a short break, and then when we get back, we're going to be chatting with Everton Alfred, president of the Tobago Football Association. He's going to be talking about the upcoming league. Don't forget to share the live, share the live, share the live.
MI4 Security Services Company is the most advanced security service in Tobago. Ask about our cash in transit service. It's safe, risk-free, reliable, and timely. We provide safe banking delivery for all business types and sizes with highly trained staff, 24/7 monitoring, coordinated emergency response, and a well-maintained fleet of armored vehicles. Contact us at 660-7723 or visit our website at www.mi4securitytt.com to sign up today.
Jimmy's Holiday Resorts has 1, 2, and 3 bedroom, fully self-contained apartments located at the heart of Crown Point. Minutes walk to the popular beaches, restaurants, bars, and the airport. Enjoy our amazing amenities such as fully equipped apartments, complete with Wi-Fi, AC, TV, and a pool, and a mini-mart on the compound. Call 639-8292 or 8929. Jimmy's Holiday Resorts is your family's home away from home.
Right now, Tobagonians are just currying down to Bonaccord, right in Stobie local road. You know why? To come down and shop at Authentic Builders General Hardware, the only hardware store in Tobago that is giving you guys Trinidad prices. So for instance, such as steel, 1/2 inch and 5/8, $7,895. 5/8 construction ply for $260. Every single thing that you will need to do your home renovation or start your new construction, we have it right here. And to get your quotation, it's very easy. Just WhatsApp us at 272-1990 and we will do your free WhatsApp quotation for you.
Put a smile on your face when you're moving from place to place. Good morning, good morning, morning, good morning, morning.
Hey, welcome back, and of course, thanks for staying tuned to the morning show. We are joined on set once again, this time by a much more, a very, very intimidating fellow, Mr. Everton Alfred. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Yes, of course, and thanks for coming and sharing with Tobago all about Tobago's football. Before we get into the discussion about the Tobago Football League, I want to chat to you a bit about Soccer Warriors. You know, and of course, you know, we're competing in the Gold Cup. And you can't tell me you're watching because you being the head of football, you have to watch and see what's going on to see what programs you have to put in place to see how we can improve Trinidad and Tobago's football. I mean, your take on our performances thus far?
To be quite honest with you, Marcus, the performance is not really surprising. It's really not what we would like to see. We'd hope to see our players get back to the top. But really and truly, Trinidad and Tobago's football is really in a rebuilding phase. But just that we have to continue playing, because you know that's one of the requirements. If you want to get funding from FIFA, you have to be playing.
Right.
So therefore, we have to be playing. I think we have done well. Get to the Gold Cup, this stage of the Gold Cup. I know Angus and the lads are trying their utmost, but we really need to be doing some work at home, and the process has already started in terms of the fact that we have now set up nationally 2 high-performance centers, one in Trinidad, and we're fortunate to have one in Tobago. But of course, our seniors must be playing.
And in terms of qualification, it's do or die on Sunday against the United States of America. What chances there?
I'll leave that up to the lotto. I'll leave that up to you thinking about how your chance of winning the lotto. But the US has advanced their football tremendously, and they continue to do a lot of work. We are quite a few pieces behind, but hopefully we can get to that stage sometime in the future.
Yeah, and let's come to Tobago's football now. We are here talking about the launch of the league or the start of the league. I mean, tell Tobago what to expect this season, when we're going to start, teams involved, and all of these different things.
All right. So, of course, this year we're kicking off the season on July 5th.
That's like
Wednesday.
Next Wednesday?
Yeah, that's Wednesday coming. I'm happy to announce that we would have added to the fold 2 clubs, one returning, like the prodigal son, Gold City out of Castara. They're returning.
This is a round of applause, man. That's my home city,
Yeah, exactly.
That's my home city.
I know
That's
that's
my home city.
And then we're adding a new member, Eagles FC. They have been a youth organization for a number of years.
Yeah.
And they have been turning out a number of young players. And they have now decided to venture into the senior football. So we're going to have them on board as well within the football season. And then, of course, outside of that, we're going to be using a new venue for the first time in local football, where we'll be taking the football into Belgarden, where, they have a community ground inside, past the health center. So we're going to be adding that to the landscape this year.
That's where the swimming pool is located? No, that's not Belgarden.
No, that's not Belgarden. That's down below Argyle.
Uh-huh.
And you're going backwards. You have to go back down.
Right.
If you know what the Belgarden Health Center is, and the new community center.
Oh, right. Yes. That's where we have had some challenges with someone who, we leave that right there. So you have gotten assurances from the Tobago Sports Assembly that ground can be utilized.
Yes, they're doing a lot of work, and the community itself, the players in the community, they are working as well. In fact, this Sunday morning they will be on the field doing some work, doing some filling, and it's expected that the team that is working on the ground will continue in the coming weeks. The division has already replaced one of the goalposts that was damaged up there, so we're going to be adding that to the local scenery as well.
Yeah, is there a team from Belgarden?
Yeah, there's a team from Belgarden. They did well, got into the last 8 last season, so they're looking forward to the 2023 season that they can go further, and that's really nice, really good and competitive that these communities are engaging their young people in sports, and we really like that.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you have two teams joining the fold this year, Eagles FC and Gold City. What is required for a team to participate in the Tobago Football Association League?
All right, well, of course, you have to have some history. You have to be playing, and just like Castara, who while they were in Tobago football, and they had history of winning the league, going back far back as 2013.
Yeah.
They recently was in the final of the Mariah
right,
league.
So they would have, okay.
And of course, their players have still been playing because they had some challenges within the club structure, which is the reason why they had to stop. But they're coming back, so they have some history. Eagles have been doing well over the last 3 to 4 years. At most of the youth level competitions.
Sir Gibson Day.
Sir Gibson and Mr. Boltzwin. Yeah. So you have some history, and therefore you recognize that these organizations can sustain themselves over a longer period, because playing a minor league for 3-4 weeks is different to playing in a league that spans 4 to 5 months. It requires that ability to sustain yourself and compete for that length of time.
Yeah, so how many teams are going to have participating this
season?
We're
going to have 21 clubs this year participating in Tobago. We're still going to have those 2 teams that are playing in the tier 2 of the national level, that is Phoenix and Bethel. They're still going to be playing here as well.
And you're allowed to play with the same players you're playing with?
No, not the same players.
Okay.
You'll have to transfer the players, but they have sufficient resources that they can do that. So we're happy to still have them in the fold. And I expect that the season will be a competitive one, despite we're going to have some challenges, as is normal in any phase of life. But we're going to do well.
And what are some, in the space we have heard and seen challenges with some of the recreation grounds throughout Tobago. What are some of the grounds that we're going to be playing with, in addition to what you mentioned earlier with Belgarden?
All right, so that we're going to have Speyside, starting in the east, we're going to have Speyside, Roxborough. We just added Belgarden to the fold, Mount St. George. Then we go to Mariah, Montgomery, Blackrock, Plymouth. Now that they've fixed the lights, we're going to be playing a lot more games in Plymouth. And then, of course, right after the Commonwealth Games, we expect to have Shaw Park, Mount Pleasant, and hopefully Canaan Bonaccord as well back on the fold.
Yeah, and is it that we're going to how are we going to do it? We're going to do it, divide them into groups? So
yes, we're going to continue the format from last year with a little change, or addition, I should say. We have the 3 conferences, 7 teams in each conference. And then you would have the top 2 from each conference, and the 2 best third place making an 8. But that 8 would be divided based on a draw into 2 groups of 4. Now, last year, what we did, we had a knockout straight. So you play 1 game and go home. We felt that wasn't good enough, so that we're going to now divide them into 2 groups of 4, where you play everybody in your group, and then the top 2 from those groups would advance to the knockout phase to play for the championship in Tobago.
Wow. So a lot to look forward to.
Yeah,
and is it that we have a promotion in terms of the winner will go to the second tier in Trinidad? Is that part of the discussion?
Well, of course, this new structure that they have in Trinidad, we have to get in tune, because what they're doing this year, they're playing a short competition now, but the full season begins, I think, in September, and it runs for 9 months.
Right.
So we're going along the lines of what we see in Europe. So just as we support Manchester for 9 months, we're going to have to support our community club for a little longer period. So I think there wouldn't be any promotion in 2024, but thereafter there would be promotion for the top teams to advance into the tier 2 and then hopefully tier 1.
Yeah, and we're talking football in Tobago, and obviously the league will basically cater for men. And in terms of junior football and women football in Tobago, is that a plan of your executive?
Yes, we are doing, and I'm happy to say that we have been working closely with the national body in that regard. As I mentioned earlier, we have the High Performance Center, one area of that in Tobago. So we're working in that regard to develop the youngsters. And then, of course, we are working with the girls, the women's program as well. So they also have a High Performance Center in Tobago. In fact, just this week, we had a national coach in Tobago along with the technical director looking for the girls at the under 14 and under 17 age groups, because that's where the focus is now, that we're looking for 2026, 27 and beyond. So that we are working on that. I'm happy to say that we're now working with a group out of Roxborough to form a women's team that we're hoping that can sustain itself over a period of time. They would have recently competed in the G14 league that we had in Tobago. It was the first attempt for them, and I think they did well to complete the season. So now we're hoping that we can continue the training and working with that group in the East as well, so that we could have some more Talia Martins coming out of the East and continuing. So bear in mind that is going to take some time, but yes, we have embraced the fact that we need to expand into the youth and into the women's field. Hopefully, maybe next year we will see our own women's league in Tobago.
Yeah, and in terms of the fixtures, because you said that you're going to start on Wednesday, double headers on Monday. Well, just give us an idea of what the fixtures look like.
Before school reopens, we're going to be playing on Wednesdays, Fridays, Saturdays and Sundays, because different conferences. So it's not like the same people playing every day. And then when school reopens, we give up the Saturday to secondary schools. So they would use Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday. And then, of course, for us, we would play Wednesday, Friday and Sunday. That's what we're going to be playing.
Oh, and is there any course attached to some of the gated grounds?
Well, we're only going to be using Dwight York Stadium for now in terms of a gated venue. So we want to encourage people to come out in the communities, support your village team, support the guys. And then, of course, when we get later on in the season, we get to the Dwight York Stadium, you will support the TFP with a little bit of your coffers, money from the coffers.
And before you go, is there a prize you're playing for in the?
Well, of course, the guys wouldn't play without paying for a prize. And what we have decided to do this year as well, we have added a prize for the conference winners.
Right.
So you'll get 4 prizes there, so you can get money in your conference. So what we're doing, instead of trying to get one prize and give a big prize to one team, we're trying to spread it out so that everybody gets a piece of the pie. Right. And then, of course, those teams, the last 4 teams in the final phase will also get a bigger piece of the prize.
Yeah, I like that. Mr. Alfred, we're going to leave it there today. I want to thank you so much for coming on set, talking to us about Tobago Football League. So happy to see Gold City back in the mix out of Castara and the young Eagles team, Mr. Gibson and Mr. Boswin. Good luck to you guys in the upcoming season. Viewers, thank you so much for being with us here this morning. Had a really good morning show. I'm going to hand it over now to the Tobago Notes. Tobago Notes of the Information Division. Enjoy your weekend and be safe.
ably prepared by their first-year teachers, Miss Myrtle George, Miss Marcia Augustine Monteith, Miss Karen Roberts Andrews, and Miss Arlene Scott Heath. These budding young scholars were as ready as they can be for the school's first community reading exercise.
At Mason Hall Government Primary School, we have been really advancing reading at our school at our lower level, hoping that as they matriculate, they go beyond the first year into the second and way up to the 5, that we can erase the challenges that we know that many of our children in Tobago experience.
Through the use of the Jolly Phonics program, infant readers are quickly able to recognize the sound of syllables before joining them to pronounce their words.
Even adults, when they have to present before an audience, they have that thing weeks in advance, and they're going through it weeks in advance. But because we are not promoting memorization, but mastering and harnessing the skills, the phonetic skills, they have learned, and they only got the material just about 15 minutes ago.
Students randomly chose their books to present in front of an audience of parents and students.
Ready to read? Parents ready to listen? Yes.
One final high five for good measure, and it was showtime.
Good morning. My name is Carlos Hazel. For book I'm reading is My Dad and Me.
The execution wasn't perfect, but the effort was definitely commendable. Supported by their teachers, the brave infants are sure to master the art of learning as they persisted until they got it right.
What stood out to me is that there was authentic reading. And I think that is what the teachers tried to achieve. So they gave the children the material this morning, so it wasn't something that they would have practiced over time. And so the skills that were taught over the year, you saw them emerging, because we saw children correcting, doing self-corrections and all of that. And so we know that everything that was presented here this morning was genuine.
Well done, students. You read, you understood, and you conquered.
That was a production of the Department of Information, Office of the Chief Secretary, Tobago House of Assembly.
Yeah. Hey. Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denise. Let's go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the skies. I say thanks for favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun. We are beaches, we are rivers, we are melanated ones. We special and there is no denying. Tobago is number one. I am you and you are me. Together we stronger.
Welcome to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates, your source for current affairs in Tobago, Trinidad, and the region, with the perfect conversations to complement your morning routine. I am Candace Jackson, and let's get started with the news in 90 seconds. The THA budget statement for fiscal 2023-2024 was passed in the House last night. The sitting lasted until midnight, with each assemblyman and councillor contributing to the budget debate. The debate now moved to the committee stage, where each line item will be deliberated on before being passed for a second time and be ready to be delivered to the Minister of Finance. The sitting of the committee stage will take place today. Minority Leader Kevin Morris stated that the budget delivered by Chief Secretary Fali Augustine was a flight of fantasy. Morris criticized the budget as he kicked off the debate in the House. He said it lacked a clear direction, particularly in the area of infrastructure. Meanwhile, he raised concerns about the idea to develop an online education system which will enable autonomous study and sporadic instructor monitoring. Morris also voiced reservations about the plans for Tobago's carnival all scheduled for October. And finally, the Tobago division of the Tobago Chamber of Industry and Commerce, Mr. Curtis Williams, said they were anticipating hearing about the payment schedule for contractors during the THA budget presentation on Monday. He said that the THA's late payments to contractors and suppliers affected their cash flows and ultimately their ability to conduct businesses. However, Williams supported the plans announced for the agriculture sector and hopes serious action is placed into implementing them. And that was the news in 90 seconds, brought to you by Coconut Cafe.
Coconut Cafe, the buffet restaurant that specializes in all your tasty local dishes. For breakfast and for lunch. Breakfast includes coconut bake and sada roti, served with chokers, bull joil, and sausages in tomato sauce. Not forgetting beef and cheese pies, shepherd's pie, macaroni pie, and rice in various styles. Meat served in a variety of flavors, garden salads, and pasta salads. All this accompanied by fruit juices, coconut water, your choice of a great combination to appease your taste buds. So call us today to order, as we are here to accommodate your busy schedules or if you are having a cooking day off.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, of course, we are in budget week, and yes, we are continuing to follow all the developments. So last night in the House, well, the sitting went from 10 a.m. yesterday to around midnight last night, where everybody, every assemblyman, every councillor had the opportunity to give their presentation or make their comments based on the budget, whether they be on the executive council side or on the minority side, what they liked, what they didn't like, what are the plans. So, you know, you can expect us at Tobago Updates to get further into those discussions as the next week unfolds, as we get different perspectives. But joining me this morning is Mr. Anselm Richards, who is technical advisor in the Division of Finance, Trade, and the Economy. So welcome and good morning to you, sir. How are you doing?
I'm good. Good morning. Thanks for having me. Good morning, Tobago. Good morning, world, wherever in it you are.
Great. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to hear the final roundup of last night's presentation. I couldn't quite make it. I couldn't quite. It was a long night, but
very long.
I mean, I tried as much to follow it. But you know, at the end of it, the Chief Secretary is going forth with this budget of $4.5 billion, right? And which is 6.9% of the estimated national budget that is to come at the end of September and October. And do you think that that's a reasonable request?
Well, it is a reasonable request. It is provided for in the DRC recommendation. Remember, the range is 4.03 to 6.9. We have always been fed at 4.03%. We are saying, based on where we are and the journey that we have charted for the island, the time has come for us to be now fed at the higher level end of the Dispute Resolution Commission, which is about 6.9%. That works out to $6.90 of every $100 spent in this country. That is a reasonable ask in the context of the construct of the national economy, where Tobago is, where we need to go in terms of our infrastructural development, where we need to go with the whole reformation of the public administration and governance arrangement, where we need to go with education, where we need to go with our health services. There needs to be a serious injection of funds into this economy to do the kind of transformation that is necessary to put the economy on a sustainable, prosperous, and resilient path.
Mm-hmm. Now, Mr. Morris yesterday in his contribution said that there seemed to be no real plan to the budget. You know, it was just a bunch of lofty ideas that were presented and no outline plan of action in there.
Well, if Mr. Morris came to the House and made that statement, two things. He has not read the document, or he doesn't have the capacity to understand an economic plan and an economic direction and a plan of action for an ensuing fiscal year. So that's basically my response. But however, when you listen to Mr. Morris yesterday, you obviously see that he's conveying some, what we have now termed Vannonomics in the space. Some mischief that is being made by certain intellectuals. And let me be precise. You know, persons have asked or access to grind, and they go into the budget and they pick some numbers. They are not going to the heart of the policy prescription. Let those who are criticizing the budget come to Tobagonians and tell them why we should not pursue with this level of alacrity the internal self-government issue as it relates to building a solid foundation for governance in Tobago and in Trinidad and Tobago. We have all witnessed the madness that is taking place because of the governance arrangement between the Prime Minister and the Chief Secretary. If we don't fix the constitutional arrangement, that is a real possibility that is going to happen once the party that governs the national government and the party that governs the THA are not of the same complexion or the same political philosophy or ideology. You're going to have those things, the possibility of those things happening. What we need to do, we need to fix the constitutional arrangement that establish the governance framework and the relationship between the central government and the Tobago House Assembly. And that will create clear pathways as to how the government of Trinidad and Tobago functions in the Tobago space, how the THA functions, and what are its areas of responsibilities and constitutional authority in the function. If you don't fix those things in the Constitution, you will always have the possibility of what is taking place, that the Chief Secretary have to read his position on the issue in the House, and the Prime Minister responding by reading his position. You don't need that. The constitutional arrangement can fix those things. Clear demarcation. This is your zone, this is mine. This is your lane, that's the Tobago House Assembly. So let Varnos and Kelvin come and say that is not a relevant and urgent policy prescription. Let us look at the state of the institution that is the THA, our collective institution of governance, the Tobago Assembly, and see if there is not an urgent need for us to fix this institution in terms of the digitization, our processes, the strengthening of our processes, our human resource capabilities to deliver continuously better service and quality service to the people of Tobago. Our first line of defense against corruption and misbehavior in the public space and the management of public funds is a strong public administration. Let Varnos James and Kelvin Morris come and say that those things are not relevant. Now, so the whole issue of nitpicking a 2% decline in GDP and making that a story. But I expect the proponents of Vananomics to have a deeper understanding of how the national accounting takes place. One, so you have the GDP calculations. GDP is calculated two methodologies, and that's national accounting. So you calculate the GDP at constant prices. So you hold a price, let us say, from 2010, and you're calculating GDP in 2022, you go back to what prices were. So what you do, you deflate any growth in the thing. And then you have GDP at current prices. When we did the calculation, the GDP at current prices, the nominal GDP you call that, grew by 6.5%.
No,
so,
and does this also contain the businesses that are also tied to Trinidad or are based in Trinidad?
We'll deal with that. We'll deal with the structure of the economy because that's another issue. And I have a paper here that Dr. Varnos James did in 2012, and we'll understand how this intellectual could be wayward and unstable. So we'll deal with that because he write this. So you calculate GDP at nominal prices and you calculate at real prices. So when we did the calculation of the GDP, the nominal GDP grew by 6.5% in 2022. But when we apply the deflation because of inflation, and you know inflation is 17%, because of the depth of the deflation, the GDP went into a 2% negative zone. We reported it. But that does not mean that there's a decline in economic activity on the island and there's a drop in value added. What it means, because of the global level of inflation, inflation is a problem now across the globe. And if you are trading at 17+% in inflation, when you do your GDP calculation and you do the deflation, it is obviously that it is going to likely end up in negative growth. So when you come to the people as an intellectual and as a senior intellectual, set aside your petty politics, set aside your axes that you have to grind, and lay the facts and use your experience and education to educate those who don't understand the discipline in which you speak. And I think that is not being had from my mentor. Right? I don't know what is driving him now, but there is definitely a need for him to reset and refocus. And if he wants to be the professor that he claims he is, he has to be truthful. You can't pick a few petty data and come and create a kind of narrative that the sky is falling in. But if we go back to the GDP calculation, in the last 10 years of the current administration, the last administration, and I'll give you the years. You have 7 years of negative GDP growth, 7 out of 10. And you have the minority councillor coming to the house and slavishly talking to Vananomics and forgetting that his party was in government for 23 years in this country, or 22 years in this island government. So let me tell you what was happening in the last 10 years. Let me just pull up the data here, because the facts must be told to the people of Tobago. I am not in politics. I'm a technician. I'm a fair person. I call a spade, and wherever it is wrong, I say it is wrong. When it is right, it is right. So let me just pull this data and share with Tobagonians what has been happening.
But I also want to, address this matter of revenue.
Yeah, we'll deal with that. We'll deal with that, because Vanos have a nice thing here, and we will talk about all of that. It's nice. In 2012, the Tobago GDP nominally grew by 2.2%, but the real GDP declined by 2.3% in 2012. In 2013, it grew by 23.3%, and it had a 15.6% growth. In 2014, declined by 1.1%. In 2015, there was a growth of 3%. In 2016, 5% decline. In 2017, 4.5% decline. In 2018, 3.9% decline. In 2019, 1.9% decline. In 2020, 5.7% decline. Farley wasn't in office when these things were happening. Inflation wasn't trading at 18 and 17%. So let us be fair. Let us be honest in our intellectual discourse.
And of course, you also have to take into consideration all the things that happened globally that affected just the way things are happening.
Exactly. And more than that, our economy was barred from international travel for a long time and opened very late last year. Right? So we had that. And then we had significant shortage in terms of the availability of seats on the domestic air bridge to boost our domestic tourism. When you add all those factors in a high inflationary space, what do you expect?
What about in terms of the complaints from the business sector? Because we constantly hear it. When you talk to the businesses on the ground, they might have people in their stores, but the truth is the revenue that they're collecting, the sales that they're generating is nowhere close to pre-COVID or even the sea bridge issues and so on.
Well, we have those facts, because what you have in a high inflationary pressure environment, you find people be very cautious with how they spend. The real wages of the worker is down, because remember, inflation means that if you were paying $10 for a loaf of bread, you are now paying 18. So you could no longer buy 2 loaves of bread with the $20, you could have 1. So you have to be shopping around, and that is what the business persons are experiencing. Persons coming in, surveying, looking at prices, duck out to the next store to see if they could get it $1 cheaper. That is how consumerism operates. People are sensitive to prices because it impacts on your ability to consume. So we have those issues. Yes, and that is a global issue. I have read recently where in Europe or in France or Spain, I can't remember, one of those countries in Europe, where the government has met with a group of supermarket operators and have now agreed to hold a basket of prices constant, basic food items, constant, and those supermarkets have agreed to take a reduction in their markup to hold down inflation. That is the level to which inflation is operating globally, that countries are making those kinds of intervention to ensure that the inflation does not erode the health of the nutritional requirement of the population and drive people into poverty and misery.
But then how is this budget that was presented, how is this going to turn around the situation that we're faced right now, where people are so concerned with the inflation of prices and they're being very cautious in the way that they're spending? How can businesses now thrive based on what was presented on Monday? Right. So we went to the heart of our inflationary challenge. Most of our inflationary challenges are imported inflation because our production bases are low. When we have to use our productive capability as a government to see how we can intervene. And that's why the mega farm projects were frontal in the presentation of the government, because we think if we are able to intervene at that level, we can significantly bring down the prices of fruits and vegetables, fresh vegetables, provisions, and that kind of agricultural produce, pork, chicken, lamb,
And that will be a big boost. We'll also encourage, and we have been encouraging households to do their little planting so that you can reduce your public expenditure. And as I speak to that, another issue with the Tobago economy, because of its nature and structure, is that the Tobago economy has a very large, huge, I don't want to be double adjective here, a very huge informal production and productive sector. And let me explain that to Tobagonians. What happens in the calculation of the GDP? All those things that you produce home, your backyard garden, your animal, your poultry eggs, your yard fowl eggs, and all those things are not calculated. Household production at that level are not picked up in the GDP calculation. And we know that most of us in Tobago have those domestic productive capabilities. The other thing is that, for instance, you may decide, okay, I will do a nice dinner for my family tonight. So you go, you buy your lamb, you buy your chicken, your turkey, and you do your thing, like when the people doing it for Thanksgiving, and you create a meal that values $3,000. That is not picked up in the GDP calculation, And the social value of that, with family around the table, nursing and so forth. Those things are not picked up. But if you go to Comfort Inn down the road, spend the $3,000, feed your family at Comfort Inn, that is picked up in the calculation of the GDP. And those proponents of Bananomics understand all these things, but they are not coming to the public to explain and educate us as to why you may have a very low GDP figure in Tobago because of the nature. All those things that the communities produce for harvest, home out, are not picked up in GDP. And those are big features in our social and economic construct in Tobago.
But when in terms of the liquidity of cash around and having, a situation where the economy seems to, at least in terms of the businesses and things like that, could be robust. Because those plans, in terms of the mega farms and all those things require a large amount of investment.
Yes.
But there was no timeline given for when we can see the return of that investment. How will that return of investment also be calculated? Okay, well, the mega farm issue, we have budgeted just under $50 million to start that project. Right, it's going to be executed in phases. So I'm certain before the end of this ensuing fiscal, or even the end of this year, some level of productivity can start on these farms, right? Because you don't have to do all at once. You can deliver value added and benefits to the community continuously, incrementally over time. So you can clear 5 acres out of the 100 acres, and you could start poultry production almost immediately once you put in the infrastructure. In 8 weeks, you could start feeding Candice with chickens or eggs. So those things are how you manage the implementation and execution of the strategy. But let us go back to the business community. And in the budget, we reported what our findings from the study that was done by the Division of Finance found in terms of the COVID impact on businesses. And we have been working with the business community. We have budgeted in this budget $60 million to start a loan guarantee to make working capital available to our businesses on the island. Because we recognize that the problem in this country, we have to deal with the financial services, the formal financial services sector. All of us understand and know the difficulty you face to get loans in the bank, to do business. They will give you a loan to buy a car. The minute you go to the bank and say you want $1 million to start a business, is all kinds of headache, all kinds of problem. And the THA, as a government, even the administration before recognized that, and they have set up a number of financing options with the aim of helping businesses. And you must give them credit for that. Dr. London did an excellent job in terms of an intervention in that regard when he established the BDU, the business development thing, and the venture capital. We have recognized now, given where we have traveled, in terms of our economic evolution, that those facilities are not reaching effectively the needs of our business community post-COVID. And therefore, we have been working with the business community, the Bankers Association. As a matter of fact, 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting that I chair with the Bankers Association where we presented to them the policy framework for this loan guarantee program that we have budgeted to start with $60 million to grow to about $250 million in about 5 years, so that we could have that kind of pool available to guarantee loans to Tobago business, to give them a fair chance to survive. So it is not that this administration have not been responding to the needs of the business community. And we have had meetings with the Chamber of Commerce, and we have gotten their input.
and we have prepared the loan document. We have discussed it with the Bankers Association. It is being reviewed by the Bankers Association. We have budgeted for the fund. So we are responding to the needs of the business community because we understand and recognize the importance of having strong businesses into private sector businesses uptake in Tobago to impact our whole long-term strategy of building a sustainable, prosperous, and resilient Tobago.
But in terms of that loan guarantee program, because that's not a new idea, it's something that has been tried many times within our space, whether on a national level or a local level. But we continue to have issues with the banks and so on in terms of the requirements for our businesses to access it. I mean, things like even just, titles on lands and things that have spanned so many decades, so many administrations, never sorted out. But those things impede a lot of businesses from having the access to these loans, any kind of a loan guarantee program. Was there anything in your presentation to the Bankers Association that would change or make it so that more businesses can access, so that the requirements for these loans are not as strenuous as it has been in the past?
Right, and that's a very important point. So we have recognized that, and I like the point you made about land titles and all of that. And that is a matter that will be able to resolve if we afford it our right to self-determination within the context of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So if we have our own legislator that can make Tobago laws, we can make a law in Tobago to treat land ownership in Tobago, and we can execute that so that Tobagonians can have title to their property that they would have inherited from their parents, grandparents, and so forth, and that they have been living on for donkey years, as we would say in Tobago. So that is something that I want the proponents of anonymous to say is not relevant in terms of the issue that was raised, in terms of our relentless pursuit for internal government, starting now and going into fiscal 2024. So park that there for now. The issue of making the conditionalities of the loan guarantee soft, and I say soft in inverted commas, is something that we have considered and discussed with the Bankers Association. However, the Bankers Association will put their stamp on it in terms of the commercial requirements, the legal requirements for a program like that. Also, we want to ensure that the conditionalities are not too soft to be an incentive for those who would have participated to default on their loans. So there have to be a balance in that. We recognize that that has been a challenge. Our conversation with the Tobago business community have revealed that the national program is very strenuous and it is difficult for them to participate. Hence the reason why the THA have come to the policy position that it needs to come up with a Tobago specific loan guarantee program through the Tobago House Assembly to provide the needed financial support to keep our businesses afloat. So we are looking at those considerations, but definitely we cannot look at it at the expense of compromising the entire program and securing the future of the program itself. So there has to be a balancing act. The businesses have a requirement also in law to be compliant with their legal obligation, to be compliant with their statutory requirements, and therefore we cannot do a program that supports and promotes and reward indiscipline in our business community. So there has to be the businesses in Tobago and the owners have to avail themselves to be legally compliant and meeting all their statutory obligations. So it's a balancing act. We recognize that these things are important in our policy designs.
All right. Well, we've got to pause on the conversation right there, but when we return, we'll continue to dig more into these issues of the economy as the focus is on budgets, for THA budgets for 2023-2024. So don't go anywhere.
I say thanks a favor to wake up and hear me neighbor. 60,000 people strong and the vibes is never wrong. We are beauty, we are power, we are people in the sun.
Everybody only worrying. Never ever worry, don't mind how things looking hard. I tell them never ever worry, if your nice can't get damaged bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, don't mind if life make you sad. I tell them never ever worry, if your house get flooded out real bad. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider, Tatil is always right here for you. I tell them never ever worry, if sickness catch you off guard. I tell them never ever worry, if times fall on you real hard. I tell them never ever worry, what I'm saying is true. So just consider Tatil will always be here for you. Never worry about a thing. Tatil, where people are people. You know what I mean.
Tapicom. Welcome to the future. The only card you will need in a new world. Digital business cards. Safe, hassle-free. The future is here. Tapicom. New generation digital transfer. Digital time clock cards. Digital attendance cards. Air tags. Customized designs. Digital clothing tags. Digital pet tags. Tapicom. The future is here. Contact us today.
October will never be better with Tobago Carnival fever. Book your passage and come on over.
Yeah. Hey.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago. Wake up with Candace and Denasia.
Let's go.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversations about discussions on the budget, the THA budget 2023-2024 that was presented on Monday, debated yesterday, and later today, the committee, the Finance Committee would sit and meet and deliberate on all the line items that are presented in the budget. Now, we are speaking with technical advisor in the Division of Finance, Trade and the Economy, Mr. Anselm Richards. And we, of course, talking about that request, that overall request. We're talking about it from an economic standpoint. Now, we've had a lot of conversation within this space, a lot of, let's say, disagreements with the total of the budget, right? And but that Mr. Richards pointed me to a document from, 2014?
2012.
2012. And this is stating to the need for Tobago to get more money based on our energy contribution. And the Chief Secretary, Fali Augustine, on Monday pointed to, there is some drilling and so on happening in waters very close to Tobago. And there is revenue coming out of that. And that revenue is not calculated within the national budget. Okay. It's actually calculated at a national level. It's not considered to be Tobago. However, if we were not a unitary state, then that revenue would come directly, the total of that revenue would come directly to Tobago. So based on that factor, they're asking for more money.
Yes. So what the Chief Secretary alluded to in the budget is the projected revenue earnings from the Calypso field when it becomes operational. Mm-hmm. But, in the heat of the presentation, it may not have been as clear as that. But that is so if you go to the budget, so the Calypso field is very close to Tobago, in Tobago's waters, right? And
is it within 6 miles?
No, just a little off 6 miles. But it is if you use the law of the sea, the international law of the sea, and you do the demarcation that Vanos did in this paper, and I will share it in 2012, I will share it to Tobago and what he was saying. You will find that the Calypso field is squarely is in Tobago waters. The projected revenue from that will come to the national treasury when that is operational is 19 billion TT dollars that the government will own in the revenues. So when you start talking that, and there are other fields in the Tobago waters close, and we have the map, that will show the kind of revenue that is generated from the Tobago economy. And for instance, the same Dr. James, who is now the proponent or the chief proponent of Vanonomics, in 2012 presented a paper. And this time, and this is the danger when you become a very unstable intellectual. So in 2012, when he had the fallout with Ashwood Jack, he switched and did this work for the PNM. He presented it at the finance division. So here's what he said, right? He said he did this study. He said overall it is estimated that the Tobago economy generated value added, which is the same GDP, value added, of 4.85 billion TT dollars in 2011, right? And grew by 27%, 27.4% in nominal terms. That is what I told you. This is at current prices. So he didn't go back to constant prices, right? To 3.8 from the 3.8 billion in 2010, right? As shown in the table below, right? And breakouts of all, right? Listen, he said that the economy is projected to generate GDP of 6.9 billion. The GDP figure we're talking about now is 1.6. So in 2011, he said that the Tobago GDP was 4.85 billion and would have grown to 6.3 billion in 2012. Right? On a conservative baseline estimate, the GDP of Tobago is likely to be about 15.2 billion by 2015. I want to ask Dr. James, what happened to the economy between 2015 and 2023 that our GDP is now $1.6 billion, and who was in government over that period? That is one question you need to come and explain to Tobago. Now, this is he working on. You don't mind? He write this and come at finance, and me I need to get way down in that presentation there, and I walk out because I recognize he's my mentor, so I understand him, the mischief he was making in the space. And when I ask him certain questions, he get, and I walk out of the presentation. Right? So he said the economy is projected to yield a per capita GDP, of 17,614 US in 2012, and rising to 35. That when he said everybody had to be go be millionaire. You remember that? He said everybody had to be go a millionaire. The same Father James who talking now that acts of things. But let me get to the figure. The revenue capacity of the Tobago economy, assuming prudent policy of a tax rate of 30% on GDP and a borrowing of 46.6% of GDP, will yield the Tobago revenue of 3.7 billion. You have the document there in 2011. 3.7 billion, he said the revenue for Tobago should be in 2011. And when you ask for 4.5% in 2023, he has said too much money. The same man, hold on, let me finish. The same man come here and say too much money, right? Rising to 6.5 billion. 6.5 billion in 2015, 7-8 years after, he come right here and sit down on that story and said that when you ask for 4.5 billion, that's too much money. What we doing? That is not how you educate people. That is not how you conduct yourself as an intellectual. No. You have to be consistent. No, you have to be predictable. You can't be wayward and crazy with your ideas.
Now, in a situation where we had the Minister of Finance on Monday explaining that Tobago got less money than what's estimated for, because let me just put some context on it. So for between 2017 and 2021, 2022, sorry, THA got less money than they had estimated in the budget.
No. We got less money than what the Parliament approved.
Than what the Parliament approved.
Yes.
Now, when questioned about it by Independent Senator Dr. Maria Dillon Remy, Minister Imbert stated that, what he presents in October, September, every year is an estimate. It's not a guarantee that this is all the money that will be allocated for any part of the government.
$52 million, right? Out of that 0.38 billion. And they give us one. And that has been the pattern. And Tobagonian needs to understand what is happening with their monies and their allocation, right? This is not no fight for anything, This is just what we are entitled to. We get in the least $4.30 from every $100 that is spent in this country. And it is unfair. It is grossly unfair and unreasonable for any government. We're talking about revenue shortfall. Take it from the ministry down in Trinidad. You can't take the 30 cents from the $4 that you're giving us. It is not fair to the people of Tobago. We have too much of things to do for the people of Tobago. We have inherited over $600 million in liabilities from the previous administration. We have inherited a bond financing expenditure of $165 million that we have to pay back in 2027 with a bullet payment. We are paying $8 million plus every year in interest charge on interest on that bond financing option. And what did they do with the money? So people have to understand the state that this administration inherited. And we did not go to the top of the hill and cry and bawl We have sat down and done the work, did the calculation, set the policy framework, working towards delivering prosperity, resilience, and sustainability. And then you have the proponents of Vananomics, and you have a minority leader who doesn't understand anything and goes slavishly in the house repeating Vananomics that he doesn't understand that Vanas James is making mischief.
And then what about the claim from the Minister of Finance that, the revenue, the tax revenue that's collected by the THA, which is calculated at just over $200 million, that doesn't even count what businesses that are of a national nature, let's say a fast food franchise, right, which just has a branch in Tobago, but pays their taxes.
The commercial banks, all of them.
All of these things, right? Should that revenue be calculated against the allocation that the THA receives, as the minister alluded to on Monday?
Well, the minister is playing games, as I said. What happens? The process is, look, if they allocate you, and I'm just using this, let us say the parliament approve $400 million for you, and you collect $200 million in revenue, you wouldn't send that to Trinidad. You will keep that, and they will give you the 200 to make up the 400. We have done that. And when we did all of that, we still recognize that we should have received over the last, from fiscal 2017 to now, to 2022, there is $205 million that done in the Ministry of Finance for the people of Tobago. And we say we want the money. We put it in the budget as part of the money to do our financing. It's our money. The National Parliament approve it for the people of Tobago, send it here. Don't stay in Port of Spain without consultation and discussion with the administration in Tobago and do what you want and say, well, you have the authority under law. You may have the authority, but is that morally right? Is it ethical? We have to stand up, We have to be stand up and be counted, We have sat in the Scarborough here and be cowed by these people in Port of Spain. We ain't setting up no fight, We are saying these are the facts. We are on facts and science. This is not no old talk and political talk. These are the facts. So we put the data together. The minister did not have the opportunity. He could not have queried it and said, your numbers are wrong. He accepted the fact that they owed us the money. Give us the money. Increase our allocation by the amount. Give you what you're supposed to give it. If it's the 4.3, plus what you owe it. And say, right, this is your 4.03, your $4.30, and that extra $205 million, it will be the OE from previous year. And everybody happy. There's a sugar spot for everybody.
All right. Well, Mr. Richards, we are out of time for our...
Time done already?
Yes, time done already. But yes, so thank you for being on. I mean, maybe next week after we're finished and the final presentation is ready to go down to the, hopefully by the end of today, to the Minister of Finance. Well, it has to, by law, has to be done today. But we can have some more conversations about, just even the projections and so on that were mentioned in the budget.
Yeah, and every time they come to make mischief in this space with Vananomics, I will come to clean up the mess that they're trying to do to the minds of Tobagonians.
All right, folks. Well, you heard it from Mr. Richards' mouth, not mine. All right. So we're going to take a quick break and come back with Good Morning Tobago. So don't go anywhere.
The energy fill the skies. I say, thanks a favor to wake up and hear my neighbor. 60,000 people strong, and the vibes is never wrong.
Yes, be careful.
Honey, I feel I'm going to start to cook, yes, because these children must be hungry now, right? Okay.
Oh, shucks. Oh. These plugs, oh my gosh.
Hey, Lisa, hey, come from there. Come from there.
What's going on in here?
Oh God, I should have buy extra, boy.
What would you do if this happened to you? Dial 990 in case of fire emergencies and always have a serviceable fire extinguisher ready and available at all times.
Are you looking for a place for your loved ones? Heavenly Care welcomes you. Located at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors, we offer a variety of services. These include doctor visitations, social activities, geriatric care, and much more. Contact us at 277-9595 or visit us at Northside Road opposite Massey Motors. At Heavenly Care, compassion is at the heart of all care.
Excel Spa by Haley, where our highly trained staff are ready to deliver the top-class services in facial massages, waxing, nail enhancement, and body treatment. We are ideally located at Coco Avenue, Switzerland, Tobago. You can find us on Instagram, Facebook, TripAdvisor, or you can call us on 730-0149. Excel Spa by Haley. Relax, renew, and rejuvenate.
Johnny, call fire. What's the number? Oh, God.
Fan emergency, good afternoon. You said the building is on fire. Are there any persons trapped? 4 persons. What is the address of the call, ma'am? Number 4, Candy Drive, Pier Road. Can I have your name, please? Miss Bihari. Thank you, Miss Bihari. I'll be dispatching an appliance. Central Control from Fire Control.
Go ahead, Fire Control. Central Control is moving over.
Central Control, have a plans and crew. Respond to our residential fire. Same is at number 4, Candy Drive, Pier Road, Chabonas. 4 persons are trapped, 2 adults, 2 children. They were unable to make contact with fire service, so she called on their behalf.
Transmission received loud and clear. Operator at Central Control, 3462. Firefighter Wiley, Central Controller.
Create an evacuation plan for you and your family and practice your escape. Always ensure you have more than one way to safely exit your home. Your lives may depend on it.
Help! Fire service! Hello, fire service! Anybody in here? Fire service! Yeah, we're right here! We gotta get out! We're right here! Okay, take him! Let's go!
Thank you for saving me. You're my hero.
Together, as we face the challenges during the new normal, always remember that fire safety begins with you.
Tobago updates. Good morning, Tobago.
Welcome back to Good Morning Tobago on Tobago Updates. Viewers, we are continuing our conversations this morning. It's a Friday morning, and we are chatting with Miss Arlene Johnson Lawrence, who is the head procurement of WASA. And of course, we're talking procurement because we have a new procurement legislation coming into play. And it's going to have an impact on contractors that are used by WASA. So a special good morning and welcome to you.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me, and good morning to Tobago. Right.
Now we are having a workshop coming up, and I guess you can tell me a little bit about that workshop that is specifically for suppliers and contractors within our space, our Tobago space, and things that they need to know about when going forward with new contracts and new arrangements with WASA.
Well, one of the great things is that because of the procurement legislation, there is a responsibility for us to do local content, for which we are very happy. So we really want Tobago vendors and Tobago contractors for works that are being done by WASA in Tobago. So that we're here to encourage them to partner with the authority. Yes, we know things have been difficult. Yes, we know there's a lot of stress, especially coming out from COVID. But the truth of the matter is that the government, the WASA, nobody could do this all on their own. And therefore, we need to partner with each other. So what we're here to do this weekend and starting yesterday is to encourage the contractors, the vendors, to engage with us, to partner with us, so that we could help transform the authority into a digital authority, a smart technology authority in the not too distant future.
And this is going to happen through a special consultation that's coming up.
Yes, absolutely.
When?
So that it starts today, right, at 10 o'clock. We're going to be in the Lowlands office. We're going to be doing a couple of things. The first thing we're going to do is to ensure that all of our vendors that are partially registered with the authority get fully registered with the authority. We're also going to explain to them how to get registered on the Office of Procurement Regulations depository, because that's important. As long as you're doing business with a government agency, you need to be registered on the authority, on the depository, or you won't be able to do business.
I think you need to repeat that one because, I mean, right. I think this fact gets lost a lot within our space when people complain, oh, we're not getting the contracts and so on, but there are things that needs to be happen first before.
Right. So there are two things. In the past, in order to be invited to quote on something for WASA, you needed to be a WASA registered vendor. Now, with the full proclamation of the procurement legislation on April the 26th, you now need to be registered on the procurement's depository and registered with WASA. So it's a two-stage thing.
And a lot more paperwork.
And well, luckily, all the paperwork is digital. It's online. You don't need to walk with anything to carry it in. You could email it. You could upload it. But we're here to partner with them. So we're here to show them and walk them through it. Right?
Now, this consultation that you are hosting, is it only for already approved WASA contractors and so on, or is it for anybody who is just interested in having a new business venture?
It is for anybody that's interested in partnering with us. We want to encourage more and more people. The more people that are encouraged, the more competitive we become. And there are also two other things. We, in the authority, have a plan for the next 2 to 5 year period. There's a couple of things going on. One, we're doing more and more pipeline projects. I think you all know about the Signal Hill that's going on.
Yes.
There's going to be going on one at Store Bay Local Road. And these require local contractors. It requires local goods to be serviced, whether it's aggregate, whether it's cement, whether the welding works, even the gas that is used to do the welding is provided in Tobago. We're not bringing it from Trinidad. That doesn't make sense, right? In addition to that, we also have the IDB loan portfolio that was signed off sometime, I think it was November last year, that will see us doing some works in Goldsboro, right? So we want to get people ready to deal with the new procurement regime because we don't want them left out.
And very quickly, because we are unfortunately out of time, but where is the consultation happening and how can they get connected?
Well, it's really easy. All they need to do from 10 o'clock today, right? From 10 o'clock today, we're at the Lowlands conference room and WASA Lowlands, and they could just come because myself, the senior manager in procurement, so I would say we talk about women's empowerment, but what a lot of people don't understand is that the procurement function in the WASA, in WASA itself, is almost fully female at the executive level. So myself, my second, Ms. Cindy Martin-Foston, she's there. Our purchasing manager, Nicole Springer, she's available digitally. Our inventory manager, Sheldon Noel, he's available digitally. And we're going to be walking people through step by step. So all they have to do is come on down, and we're there to partner with them.
Well, my director just let me know we got a couple more minutes. So, I mean, I'm going to throw out a little something for you. You know, a lot of people within our space, we are not so happy all the time with WASA in terms of the way that they will do. And I know you get this a lot. So I want to know, how can this new, the proclamation of the new legislation and the way that we are going forward and securing our contractors and so on, how would that help in making sure that the road repairs that are so important to our daily lives are optimum?
Well, I think that's a great question. And yes, we know that we get WASA gets a bad name. You know, they say that WASA stands for, what is it? Workers
Against Smooth Asphalt.
Yes, so we've heard it all. But the important thing is this, is that we may have the ability to fix the leak, but WASA doesn't produce bitumen. WASA doesn't produce aggregate. WASA doesn't produce hot mix. So that the actual permanent road restoration is done by contracted services. Whether it is, I can't remember all the different companies that operate in Tobago that have the asphalt machines and these kinds of things. If they don't partner with us, we can't fix the road. So this is really a true partnership. This is a symbiotic relationship where both WASA and the vendor are they're going to benefit from it. And all of this redounds to the citizenry of Tobago. So this is really important. And I could also tell you that we'll be back, not just for this one, but soon to be, I think this will be of interest to a lot of contractors. Soon to be, the procurement function is launching a new Oracle module, and it is called iSupplier. It is the latest Oracle module allowing the vendors themselves to communicate with the authority without having to actually speak to us. It allows them to create a purchase order online so nothing gets lost. It's a fully digital system that they will be able to track their payments. They will be able to see when they get purchase orders. All of that is included in the system. And it will be free for them to use. So that's a wonderful thing that we're going forward with.
And will this system also help in ensuring that suppliers and contractors are paid within a reasonable amount of time?
Absolutely, because now everything is online. You could track your payments. We can find your payments, which is those. So in other words, instead of you submitting your invoices anymore to the offices in Tobago, your invoices are created online. So we automatically see it in the purchasing department.
All right. So before we go, I just want you to give just a number that people can call, because I'm sure some contractors and suppliers out there are listening. And yes, you guys need to get connected. It's a great business opportunity. But of course, there's a process that needs to be done. So the number?
Okay. So the number for the Trinidad number, but it doesn't really matter where you call, right? The Trinidad number will be 662-2302, right? Extension 2956 and 2943. Those are the numbers to reach the purchasing department where we do deal with vendors.
And a new website?
Yes, the website is www.wasa.gov, and you just click on the procurement tab.
Great. So there you have it, folks. This is an opportunity for you. So take it up. If you're interested, take it up and just go through the process. As Ms. Johnson said, that you'll be able, they'll take you through the process to make sure that you comply with all the regulations under the new Procurement Act, and you can be a supplier to WASA.
Absolutely.
All right, great. I want to thank you so much for being on it with us. It was a pleasure. And viewers, thank you for staying with us, and I hope you have a wonderful, safe, and productive weekend, and we'll see you again on Monday.
Wake up with Candace and Denise.
Let's go, go. It's a brand new morning. Rise up to a brand new dawning. As the passion start to rise, the energy fill the sky.